Yeah, we mentioned R.D. Laing there, but you also, I think, brought Stan Grof over to speak at one stage, did you?
There was a little Protestant church down in the corner of the ground of St. Brendan's, and I had set that up as a sort of special unit. And I remember with Paddy Brennan, a big dub, we put quadraphonic sound into it, and also altered the decor. And so that was something of a haven, and I did a lot of psychotherapy work and group therapy down there, patients lying on couches.
And explain what that is, that sort of group therapy. Explain how it worked.
So we had this sound that we could turn on and put on all kinds of jungle sounds or whatever you wanted, to stimulate emotions. And
then what would you have used?
And then there'd be 12 or up to 14 patients, both men and women, lying on couches in that little church. So that was our main therapeutic centre.
And were you doing regression with them, or what were you doing?
So it was very different from the rest of the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was where I mainly worked.
And did you use hallucinogenics or anything?
Yes, I had LSD. I didn't have ayahuasca at that time. That came later. But I had LSD and also I used this treatment that Stan Grof had developed of some body work and hyperventilation, and you could bring people into an altered state with that. And I'd only use the LSD if they couldn't get into an altered state of consciousness with the breathing and some body manipulation.
And was there not resistance from the more conservative elements to what you were doing in the church?
Well, an interesting thing is that there were a number of psychiatrists working in St. Brendan. None of them ever went down to visit that little therapeutic centre I had. So the hospital tended to remain in its antediluvian state. But the female nurses, some of them came down and some number of them became quite radical. And they helped me a lot.
And what did you hope to achieve with that therapy in the church?
Bringing people, that became my main work then over the years, of people who'd been traumatized in various ways and bringing them through regression back to the traumatic experience and helping them to go into the experience which they had. I coined the term the frozen present. They had farmed it out into a frozen state, but not dealt with or integrated. So it was a case of opening that up and getting them to go through the integration of the experience, which involved what's sometimes loosely called the limbic brain, or the center part of the brain, where the hippocampus is and where memory is dealt with and formed. So that was the key area for working with people and getting them to go through regression and bringing these traumatic experiences through that part of the brain, which is a small part down in the base of the brain and didn't involve the cerebrum and the frontal lobes to any great extent. It was much more, it was the part of the brain linked to the body through the vagus nerve. So it was vegetative work.
And Ivor, I know those sessions in the church in Brendan's were very intense, very extreme. Did you ever worry that people would kind of lose themselves even more in that experience?
No, I generally didn't. I felt that if you could bring people into experience and help them to work through it, then they came out the other side. It's only if they funked that and wouldn't do the work and then it became frozen. And then a lot of the work was opening up those, what I call the frozen present, I called it that because when you help people to release that, it didn't come as a memory, it came as them going into the experience as if it was happening now. That's why I called the term frozen present. And that helped them then, if they could integrate that, then of course they were able to be free and develop much more.
So they could integrate their trauma into their life.
Instead of having shelved it and frozen it.
Right. And those sessions in the church, I mean, they developed a kind of mythical reputation and seemed to attract a lot of artists as well. Is that true?